All right, let's talk about what's going on in the Indian state of Bihar, because a major political drama is unfolding. We've got a surprise exit and even more surprising entry, and it's making a lot of people ask some really tough questions. Questions about what democracy even means there anymore. So, right at the heart of this, it's not just your typical political shuffle. No. According to critics, what we're looking at could be a flat-out betrayal of the people who voted. And that brings up the big question, right? Is this just some brilliant 4D chess move by a savvy politician, or is it something a lot more worrying for the democratic process itself? Okay, so the first major accusation being thrown around is that this is just a straight-up insult to the mandate. I mean, think about it for a second. You have a leader who is the face of a winning campaign, and then boom, almost immediately they step aside. What does that even mean for the people who voted for them? It's a really powerful accusation, and it pretty much sets the stage for this whole thing. And that leads us right into the second huge concern here, the idea that we're seeing the start of yet another political dynasty. And this is in a state that's, already famous for them. The big question people are asking is power now something you just inherit instead of something you have to go out and earn? So you're probably wondering, how did we even get to this point? Well, to really get what the big deal is, we need to rewind a bit and look at exactly what went down. It all starts just a few months ago. The NDA alliance wins a big majority in the state elections. And the message was crystal clear. Nitish Kumar was their guy for chief minister. A vote for the alliance was a vote for him to lead the state. Simple, right? And this timeline, wow, it just shows you how quickly everything flipped. You've got the election win. Check. Nitish Kumar gets sworn in as chief minister, just like everyone expected. And then, out of nowhere, he files his nomination for the Rajya Sabha, the upper house of parliament. All of a sudden, that top job in the state is empty, and everyone's left wondering, what on earth just happened? But see, the story doesn't just stop with an empty chair. Oh no, this is where it gets really interesting. This is the part that turns a regular political story into this huge debate about family, legacy, and power. Because the main point of contention, the thing that has everyone talking, is the sudden political arrival of Nitish Kumar's son, Nishant Kumar. Now, this is someone who is a total newcomer to politics. And we're not just talking about him joining the party. The rumors are swirling about something much, much bigger. And just look at this contrast here. It's pretty stark. On one hand, you've got Nitish Kumar, a veteran politician, the face of the whole campaign. And on the other, his son, Nishant, who has zero electoral or democratic experience. And yet, he's the one being rumored for a major position like deputy chief minister. You can see why this is just pouring fuel on the fire. Now, to really get why this is such a huge deal in Bihar, you have to look at the state's political history. This isn't happening in a vacuum. Critics are pointing out that this looks like part of a much larger, very familiar pattern. I mean, just look at the history of political families in the state. You have Lalu Prasad Yadav and his son Tejashwi, Ram Vilas Paswan and his son Chirag. Upendra Kushwaha has been accused of promoting his family. It's a long list. So for a lot of people watching, this latest development with Nitish Kumar and his son, well, it just feels like the next chapter in a very old book. And here's where it gets even more complicated. There's a real irony here that critics are jumping all over. The very same leader, Nitish Kumar, actually built a big part of his political brand on attaching his opponents for this exact thing, for promoting familyism in politics. So you can imagine the accusations of hypocrisy are flying. This brings us to this term you hear a lot in these discussions, dynasty democracy. And it really perfectly captures what the critics are worried about. It's this idea that political power isn't being earned through public service or winning elections anymore. It's just being passed down within a family, like an inheritance. Which leads us to what might be the most important question of all. Forget the politicians for a second. What does all of this mean for the actual voters? How does this impact their trust? Because here's the core dilemma, right? Voters go out, they cast their ballots for a specific leader. But what happens when the power ends up in the hands of someone else entirely, someone they never voted for? This is where the trust between the people and their leaders can really start to break down, and that's a huge problem for any democracy. And so, we're left with this big, open question. Is this just the way it is in Bihar? Is this cycle of powerful families just inevitable? Or is there a chance for politics to move beyond that? The answer, whatever it is, isn't just going to shape the state's future. It's going to define what a vote there is even worth.